So the call to action from the Nelson Mandela Foundation for 2023 is themed around climate, food, and solidarity, and emphasizes the world's most critical needs. The focus on creating sustainable food environments also speaks directly to SU's aims and vision. It says, at Stellenbosch University, we believe that no student should be burdened with the stress of food insecurity, and for this reason, the university has implemented long-term and sustainable food security programs that can be accessed by all students.
Now, talent is equally spread across the whole population, but opportunity is not. And even when you get the opportunity, and believe you me, it is tough to get into SU. I know that and you know that. Even if you get the opportunity, more support is necessary. Otherwise, that talent is threatened and stands in danger of not being realized. And our students reminded us that it's a joint opportunity, that a joint responsibility that we have as institution, firstly, but also with other societal partners, to make sure that the talent that is here has a chance to be realized, can be realized, that the dreams come true and not turn into nightmares here in Maatiland. And amidst the affluence of Stellenbosch, it is a crying shame if we cannot look after those who need it most, if we cannot provide. Because you see, even the most talented minds cannot operate on an empty stomach, you know. So we have a joint responsibility, institution right across, not only specific offices. There are offices with mandates, but we need the solidarity that our student leader is speaking about. I hear the frustration with the systems and the lack of resources, but I hear them also reminding us of the values that we share as institution.
And then on top of that, also private funding that students might have. So we'll receive emails from students who genuinely believe that they've either saved up money or their parents will be able to pay for their schooling throughout their studies, but then realize that they don't have enough money to sustain themselves, so then end up not having access to food.
I think on a national level, my view around NSFAS is I think they must take NSFAS completely away. I think we should go back to, because the predecessor for NSFAS used to be the TEFSA, the Tertiary Education Fund of South Africa, but the money was paid directly to universities and then administered within the university settings. Where my view is with NSFAS, we spend a lot of money on infrastructure, office space, staff salaries, and those kind of things that could have gone to students are now going into those infrastructure where universities, before NSFAS was born, actually had that infrastructure because we had the staff at the bursary offices and we didn't have to pay from NSFAS, from the TEFSA money to staff for salaries. It could have, that could have gone to students. I think that's one of the ways to look at that. We actually make the kind of important decision to say that NSFAS is not working and look at a different way of doing it.
I think the only way forward in terms of like a recommendation personally, in terms of like dealing with this issue, is to approach perhaps like restaurants around, wine farms around, in terms of like helping us to make sure that like none of our students are suffering from this plague, because like it's really a bad thing whereby now students are unable to perform like excellent to their studies because now they are being like faced with this issue that is very small, which together as a collective body we can be able to make sure that is resolved.
But on top of that, the standard of living in Stellenbosch is considerably high compared to other universities. So even if other university students, let's say at UCT or in Pretoria, might be able to use that NSFAS money to sustain themselves throughout the year, because the standard of living is so different in Stellenbosch, students often cannot make use of that money any further.
And therefore I feel that the universities collectively have to press the government, and not only from student side, because I think there's a silence, public silence, and especially from universities and staff and management around this kind of things in the public domain, that is, I suppose.
For this Mandela Day 2023, there was a couple of critical issues that were raised around food insecurity, and that students that are affluent and doing well within this environment have an amazing student experience at Stellenbosch University. But there's a parallel experience of students that are less fortunate, that are poorer, that are struggling, that find it very difficult to navigate this academic institution. But there's also a wonderful opportunity to be in community. There's been such amazing support of collaboration between different divisions within this institution. But we are faced with a wonderful invitation, I think, from Stellenbosch University to collaborate deeply with the restaurants in the area, with business, with government, with different societies and organizations within campus to make a difference to the student that is struggling. And I think that it is a system that we need to be geared to accommodate all students, that all students should have the same opportunities to be successful at this institution. And I think we have the potential at Stellenbosch to make it happen, to make a difference, especially for the small cohort of NSFAS students in this university, but also for the students in the missing middle category, to give them a wonderful transformative student experience where all their basic needs are met so that they can excel and flourish and make a success within this university's structure.
How do we actually make sure that our 4,500 students for this semester has food to eat? I think it's possible.